Welcome to Talk to Trev. I'm with Ryno, ambient music lover. Okay, so that's your sign-in thing on Zoom. Okay, so
yeah.
Let me get this straight. Like, you are a metalhead,
Yes.
or you are a metalhead. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so you're a metalhead, but you're playing really chilled out ambient vibes. How did that come about?
Just through exploring music, I suppose. I do love metal, but I love a lot of music. You know what I mean? Metal's mainly just my background, so it'll always be very close to my heart, and I do have a big love for it, obviously. But as far as ambient music, I don't know. Just you go on YouTube and you sort of go down the rabbit hole, and sometimes you're checking weird animal videos, other times you find good music. So yeah.
Okay, no, cool. It's interesting that you've gone that route, because it's not something you would align somebody that loves metal with.
To some degree, if you look at some bands, like in the post-rock scene, they also do like chill, beautiful music. But like you got Sleep Makes Waves and stuff. It's like very riffy. You know, it's got a lot of strong metal vibes there. It's just played with textures or soundscapes and stuff, I suppose. So
yeah. I mean, a lot of it is. And I'm going to hop on this quite a bit now, because if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, I'm a straightforward metal guy. That likes punk and hard rock and rock. So this kind of vibe, but there was a moment in my life where I was listening to this sort of stuff. It's like Ibiza chilled out vibes. That's what it reminds me of, like sunsets and beautiful orange skies and soft sandy beaches and all that sort of stuff. But you're a metalhead.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to clarify. I'm not losing my marbles there or something.
Yeah, no.
Were you always like playing acoustic and all that sort of thing, or were you a full-on metal guitarist?
I was full-on metal guitarist, metal bands.
Wow, okay.
I also do the last band I was in. I did the heavy vocals. I've actually got a project going at the moment with a mate, which will be a metal project coming out soon as well.
Excellent.
Where I'll be going back to that sort of stuff. So yeah. So full-on metal guitarist. The acoustic thing that's relatively new. My love for like ambient and different music, that's been quite some time, but the whole acoustic vibe, that actually more started just through I was fed up with bandmates at the time, like things just weren't working out, and if you've ever been in a band before, I know it can be difficult.
Yes.
So I just wanted to do my own thing, and then I also discovered fingerstyle guitar, which is also sort of another big element to my music. So it's sort of the ambient stuff mixed with the fingerstyle, and a lot of modern fingerstyle players, they do the whole thing, of doing everything on the guitar, but without looping, So it's, you're running bass lines, running melodies, percussion on the body. And I was like, okay, well, screw it, I can do this on my own. So I mean,
how did you suddenly just make that decision? Because it's one thing playing the guitar, but then it's another thing thinking of. I mean, as a guitarist, do you have to think on different levels or many levels when you're playing anyway? I guess it must have been normal to you to branch out and do the whole tap thing for the drums and everything like that with it.
Oh yeah, before I did that, I was already doing a lot of the double-handed tapping just through general playing, whether it be for solos or, I'm a big Steve Vai fan, and like
that's the funny thing, because I was going to say, I was listening to the album every time that I do a podcast. I immediately put the album on or the artist that I'm going to listen to and go through some of the stuff. And there was one that I was listening to. Is it Eclipse?
Yes.
Number 9.
Eclipse, I think.
Eclipse, yeah. That's a bit rocky and sort of like Vi-ish.
And there's 2 other lead guitarist guests on there, so you get 3 different flavors.
Right, Ross Tapson and Craig Borrell.
Yeah, both fantastic guys and amazing players. So they very special guests. Ross was a bit of a rock star moment for me, because like I was a huge
what
fan
band is he from?
He was in numerous bands back in the day, Shadow Lord amongst many others. He had
I guess in the guitarist world, then I guess everybody, or when you meet somebody that's a hero, it must be kind of weird.
Yeah, no, it is. Ross, I've got quite a few stories about him, but I mean, when I was about, I was maybe 16 or whatever, I saw him perform live for the first time, and ironically, he was just singing. He was doing a metal festival or whatever in Durban at a place that's called the Tuscan, which doesn't exist anymore, meeting Ross. So we watched him. He just sang for this band, and the 2 guitarists were shit hot. They were so good. And myself and my mate, we still went up and we're wow, this is amazing, and this and that. We're talking to the two guitarists, and they're like, yeah, you think we're good? You must hear us singer.
Oh wow, okay.
So yeah, that was before I actually saw Ross play guitar. So that was like my first fanboy moment. But
Okay.
I'm a big fan, and he does a great job in that song. And Craig Borrow as well. Getting to know him through our connection with AS Guitars, myself, Ross, and Craig. I haven't met him in person yet, but we've got a very good online friendship, and the dude's an amazing player as well. So, but yeah, Actless is an interesting song. It's a lot of guys seem to like it so far. So.
And the last one I was listening just before we came on the chat was Tsakani. What's that all about?
Yes. Okay, that's one of the fingerstyle songs. Which I'll normally perform in one of my solo sets, but I've got a lot of guests on that. There's Ron House and Ashwin Lodgett. They normally perform in my trio with me if I do like a band show,
Right.
Ash is actually playing sax on that. He normally plays bass for me, but he's a fantastic sax player. So
I was gonna ask. I mean, that is a beautiful saxophone that gets played.
Yeah, it is, and the songs are quite a nice dynamic. It's a long song, so the first half really focuses sort of on the fingerstyle acoustic guitar, and then I take a bit of a backseat, and then Ash sort of takes a driving seat over, pushing it through with the sax.
Yeah.
Then there's also two guys that I taught that are just wonderful musicians as well. Sia Ngubo and Julian Latard. So that's Sia does the bass for that song, taking over from what Ash would normally do. And Julian's popping some keys on there, and it's just a great song.
So how the hell do you do that live?
Well, I normally perform that alone, and it works really well. A big version like that, we did it without Sia and Julian, unfortunately, but at Smoking Dragon, we played the mainstream stage. And
that was last year, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Last year, 2019, December, right? Something like that.
Yeah, literally like a New Year's Eve period. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, yeah, we played before the New Year's show, though, I think it was. I can't remember too lucky, but yeah, so that was the first time we performed that as a big band like that. There's actually a video of it on YouTube, I think.
Okay.
So
is that on your YouTube channel?
On my YouTube channel, yeah.
Okay, description below, people. Click on that and go in and subscribe to his page, please. And subscribe to my page while you're at it.
Please do. So that was probably the first time we played it live in such a big way. But instead of Julian and Sia, we've got the guys from Name on the Drum who just came along for that show to make it a 5-piece band. A big stage we thought would make it a bigger band, and it was a good vibe. It was like
today you released Sparks, the official video, right? Was it today or a couple of months ago or something?
It was a while back, but obviously everything's being pushed hard. Now, a couple of disruptions in the year, for obvious reasons, and so now just like a new driving force now to try and push everything out. But Spark's initial reaction on Facebook was pretty good. Really want to get the views up on YouTube a bit, but when I don't know if it was just dumb luck or whatever, but the time I shared it on Facebook as an actual Facebook page, it picked up quite nicely. So yeah, so that was lucky, but it's getting a resurgence again now.
It's a nice simplistic video. I mean, it's you couldn't get more simple than you standing with the guitar and a couple of effects, but it's the music that makes it, and that's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much all. That's all I wanted for that. And the guy that produced the album, he's actually a filmmaker. Like that's what he does. Daniel Philogene.
Right.
And that video is his concept, and that's what he thought of, and we sort of agreed to together. And
are you comfortable in front of the camera?
I suppose. If I'm playing guitar, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm talking, I get a bit awkward. But yeah, no, that was pretty cool. The videos aren't as glamorous as people perhaps think. It's a lot of takes, and you get really tired, and you see all the bubbles and the smoke and shit in the video, and like my lungs and my throat and everything was finished by that. It was we just to save costs, we tried to keep it very DIY. So like I've got vape smoke being blown in my face with bubbles popping all over, and my hands.
What scent was the vape?
I can't even remember because it was mixed with the soap from the bubbles. So
oh no!
It was pretty, but it was worth it. The video came out great, and you see the credit for the area kid. That's also yet again Daniel Philogene, the producer of the album,
right?
The filmmaker for the video, and all the like sort of dance vibes and that's his doing as well under his music pseudonym, which was the area kid. So, yeah.
So let's talk about the album Howling Rush. How long ago was this released? It says on my iTunes 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take to record this whole process, this whole album?
Recording process itself was probably about a year. I could be wrong.
Wow, that long.
But yeah, it really shouldn't have been. But also writing the songs was even longer. The gap between that and my debut album is a little bit ridiculous. But
wait a minute. When was the debut album? What is it called? Because I haven't seen that.
The debut album is called Voicelessness. It's only on Bandcamp. It's
right.
Production-wise, it's not great. I just brought it out as like a thing just to say like, hey, right. The hard copies sold pretty well at the time, particularly because of the fingerstyle shows and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got it on Bandcamp for anyone interested, but it's not something I push too much. The album art is pretty cool. I'm quite happy about that. But like the recording could have been better, but it was just really as an introduction to sort of everything.
Okay, and what is the time period between the two albums?
Sure, I don't want to contradict myself now, but maybe 3 years or
Wow,
something.
okay.
I pushed with shows quite a lot with the first album. As I say, the hard copies did alright, so there's a few of them floating around. Actually, the downloads weren't too bad on Bandcamp either.
Okay.
But Howling Rush, it took a while to write the songs. Like, I did have a bit of a writer's block in the first period, and then was just completely overwhelmed with ideas when it started coming together. So,
but surely that'd be a positive, though. If you're overwhelmed with ideas, you must be thinking, well, shit, there's 2 songs in that idea or whatever.
It's great in terms of material, but putting it together and making decisions and finalizing those decisions.
How do you do that?
It's not easy. Look, a lot of the songs that were completed beforehand, they weren't so bad, but there were some things, especially like Atlas and songs like that, where Daniel, the producer, he helped a lot. If I was stuck in an idea, he'd like come with an honest opinion or whatever, and like, no, that sounds good, that sounds crap, you know. So it does help. You know, I know a lot of guys self-produce now and stuff, and there's definitely pros to it, but one of the pros, it is nice having another ear out there that's not as invested in that way as you are. So they'll look at it from a much more rational viewpoint. So
I was just going to ask, how is it do you prefer to record in a studio or at home on a computer?
Well, the experience with Howling Rush was great aside, except for it being incredibly long. But that was also my fault a lot. There was like just a bit of stuff, you know, family issues and stuff that came up, so that pushed the recording back a bit.
Right. Okay.
Bit of a hard time went through there, but if it wasn't for that and just, you know, 1 or 2 other little things, it would have gone a lot quicker. But in terms of recording in a studio, I mean, I suppose it depends who you do it with, but I had a great experience. The producer of the album was very cool. It's a very good vibe, and a lot of guests and everything made it quite exciting. The album I did by myself, I don't think that's a really good one to gauge with, because it was more just like a little pet project. So I think I prefer the studio vibes, but there's definitely pros to doing it on your own at home, you know.
Do you think the album would have sounded different if you weren't going through some shit?
I don't think it affected the songwriting at that point. No, it's because a lot of the songs were complete. So yeah, like it wasn't like nasty stuff. It was just, unfortunately, my mom that fell ill. So
right.
It was just a difficult period to go through, and as I say, a lot of the songs were written by that point. So
just a matter of touching up and finishing off.
Yeah. If anything, though, those instances will probably influence any new material that I come.
Well, now that's my next question. During the COVID and lockdown and all that bollocks, any new material been written?
A lot of jamming, definitely.
Is that how the new ideas come by? Just from sitting down and going, let me just fiddle around, and there you go, idea born.
I suppose it's different for everyone, but a lot of people discourage like noodling on a guitar. I encourage it if it's productive. So like that's what I try to do. I'll try noodle ideas or whatever and just jam. I try to do it with new exercises or stuff that I pick up as well, just to get something out.
Okay.
But in terms of COVID, I've actually got a video somewhere on my page. It's probably a bit flooded now with all the new stuff that's come through, but of some new material that I wrote, which probably won't count as my solo stuff. It might be for that other project I spoke about.
Right. Okay. And what is that? What is the name of that project?
Oh, the project doesn't have a name yet. It's still early stages. But the song that I've got up is called Journey's End and Lovers Meeting. Shakespeare phrase that I took from the Haunting in Hill House book. which gets repeated over and over.
Okay.
Very cool
And
book.
Is,
Yeah,
that, is,
so I
that- is
just
that is that
finished-
for later this year or next year?
Not too sure. I suppose it depends on the situation as well. Like at the moment, it's just myself and another guitarist in talks, old mate of mine. So we're talking a lot, but we haven't been able to see each other for,
Yeah, obvious
all the
reasons.
regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting somewhere. Like I don't even know if that song would be for that, but he seems to like it a lot. So yeah, we're gonna go with that. That's a lot more in the metal vibe as well. So if you could check it out.
So it wouldn't suit what you currently do now, obviously.
Not entirely, no.
Right.
I think you can hear my playing in pretty much everything I do, but yeah, I don't think it would suit the solo vibes.
It's interesting that because what I find amazing is, again, you're a metalhead and you're playing these really chilled out. Some of it isn't so chilled out there. I mean, some of it is quite. You can hear the guitar work is actually quite blistering. I mean, that's almost like the metal seeping through your veins, coming towards your fingers, saying "I will take over" kind of thing.
Yeah, I do perhaps solo more than most people in this genre do. It's always difficult when I'm recording, especially instrumental music, not to go too overboard.
Right. Do you find yourself sort of like, okay, I must withdraw. I mustn't be so out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
How difficult is that though? When you just your creative mind must be going ballistic, going, I want to just go off.
Yeah, it happens. Look, I might even bring up something.
I can just see it like an acoustic set. Next minute, it's like that's it. It's over. Richie
Yeah.
Blackmore's in the house.
Yeah, it depends on the mood, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it is something important that I've learned. I mean, especially when you're a younger metalhead, you come with all this like shit out solos and everything. You're like, yeah, this is great, but music's got to come first, or the message or the feel. You know what I mean? Also, like I just find with guitar playing, if you're just laying it all out there, you're cutting out dynamics. Dynamics are important. It makes a good piece sound better. So
Yeah. Don't ignore the
it's
dynamics.
not easy.
I wanted to ask the cover for Howling Rush. When I first saw it, and when you contacted me, and I was like, Howling Rush, okay, I've never heard of you before, and looked at the album cover and it's like, okay, blues. That's immediately the first thing I thought, and it's probably the name Howling Rush. I just thought such a classic blues. Like the cover just looks so bluesy, and I'm just without listening to it, the album cover, it just appeared to me blues. It's got to be blues. I mean, look at the songs: Burdens, Howling Rush, Slow Burning Fire, Sparks. In the groove. It's like, come on, how can these not be blues? And I was like, okay, cool. And I said to you in our chat, played and it's like, damn, this is like chilled out.
Well, there's definitely some blues scales and blues playing in there, at least in the leads. Yeah, interesting. I haven't heard that description of the cover yet, but yeah, the cover has had some people talking and a lot of different views and stuff. But yeah, that's the cover was designed by the song Takane that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That name came from a specific area that I played it in Gauteng, which one of the guys in the crowd there, a comedian from the area, he suggested that I should name the song Takane, because it was a great gig, it was a great show, and just with the vibes, and apparently the meaning of the word is to be cheerful, to be joyful, and that's sort of what he got from the song. But where I play in Takane, there's a place called Wolf and Cove Cafe. And the owner for that place is the most awesome guy in the world. Aside from the fact that his venue is super cool and just hosts so many different bands, he's also a designer. He's actually a bit of an entrepreneur in many ways. He does so many different things, especially for the community and stuff. But
right,
I thought, okay, well, this guy should perhaps do the album cover for me, and we got talking, and that's what he came up with, and I think he did a great job with it. So it comes from, there's a lot of layers to it, I suppose.
And that's certainly depicted on the album cover. I mean, it is an album that is, as like you say, it's like an onion. There's a layer after layer after layer after layer.
Yeah.
And it's a great album. It really is. I mean, I put it on the other day, and the ward and the wife, it's like, ooh, I like this. This is nice. And for her to say that, you've got the thumbs up, which is amazing. With regards to new material, a couple of ideas floating around. When do you think you're going to release the next one?
Difficult to say. I get stuck on things. So this other thing that I got going with this other guy, that might take a bit of preference for a while. But while I'm saying that, I could be watching YouTube later and then something will grab my attention. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to I've got to start implementing some of this or whatever. So even in this lockdown period, I've driven myself crazy with a lot of new stuff that I've listened to, and it's like, okay, I've got to start bringing this in. Like, especially with this sort of thing, and like you're talking about your wife's reaction and everything, those kind of things play in your mind as well. Like, I never write music for specific people to get specific attention, but like, I like music that connects to people. So like, I think, okay, well, how can I do that? So when I see something interesting or different, it's quite nice to bring that in. So I suppose it just depends how it develops, how much time I've got to write and what I come up with. I definitely like to push this out until the end of the
Well,
year.
you have to. I mean, you have to, because it really is a good album, and I encourage everybody to get it on Spotify and wherever else it's at, iTunes and so on, or download it from, pay for it and buy it and support the music artists and so on. But buy it and make everybody happy so that they can buy beer. For God's sakes, man, come on, we need beer. We need beer.
Strings are good too.
Strings, strings are good. Yeah, they help.
Yeah, I'm gonna say streams in general.
Streams, you see now, strings do help as well. Anyway, but streams, jeepers. What is it? 0.006 cents per stream.
Yeah, on Spotify, I think it is. Yeah, but speaking of strings, like, it's crazy. I finally got to get some strings today.
You see, this is so. How can this be? How can this be? Like, you only. Okay, what do you do in your daytime?
At the moment, music. Just music. No, as far as the strings, it's just because shops have opened now. That's why.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. Sorry, I'm just being an idiot. Yeah, no, okay, no, I get it. Okay, okay.
Look, it is tough for artists out there. Yeah, as far as that question goes, like, at the moment, the lockdown's been good in some ways because, like, it's finally gotten me off my ass. I really enjoy giving lessons, guitar lessons or music lessons in general. So I've finally gotten that off the ground and it's happening. So it's brought a little bit of income in this time as well.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I would like to do this full time one day. It might happen by my doing or just circumstance. So I'm also just seeing how things are at work at the moment. But long-term goal, obviously, that's what I want. So,
I saw a picture on your what's going through your pictures, and you cut your thumb a night before or on the day of a gig.
That's way back, yeah.
Okay, that was that was a couple of years back. Okay. How did that happen?
Well, that's my current day job, but that I'm not at the moment is I'm a locksmith. So
ouch.
I'm trying to remember how that actually, if it was a foul or what, but I gaff my hands all the time like that. So with screwdrivers going and hands and stuff. Bit careless, I suppose. Yeah. No, but that one on the thumb, that was a scary one. It ended up not being as bad as I thought. I actually had one worse, if you want to hear the story.
Yeah, go for it.
I cut my fingertip, like, pretty deep and bad. And it opened up quite nicely, and it was before one of my fingerstyle shows as well. So a lot of tapping and like intricate playing on acoustic. I was like, oh, sure, what am I going to do? I had the show, I think it was, I can't think of the area now, but it's just before Maritzburg, and I had a gig there. And so I super glued the fingertip back on. And like it was hanging by a piece, so it wasn't completely off yet. And it stuck around until right at the end of the show, and then it came off. I stuck a knife in my hand here in the kitchen.
How the hell did you do that?
Also before a gig, like, you won't believe, the counters were just full. I don't know what we were doing. My wife was busy with something on the other side, and I was busy on the washing machine. And I put the shotgun knife down, but it went into like the little chleefie, as we say in Afrikaans, and it popped straight up. And while I was busy, I put my hand down again to pick something up, and then I picked my hand up and was like, shit, this knife is stuck in my hand. That was also before a show again, but that one was sore.
Oof. I don't know, worse than the fingertip being cut off? Jeez, I don't know, that's pretty hectic.
Yeah, that one was quite bad. But that wasn't even a work incident, that was just kitchen making.
Yeah, that was just being you.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is the often asked artists the next couple of questions? What is the strangest thing that's happened to you while performing?
It didn't actually happen to me. It was my fault. With the fingerstyle stuff I do, for a while I was wearing fake nails. I'm trying to do it with my real nails now. But
fake
with fingerstyle guitar.
Why is that? Is it because of the plucking?
Yeah, well, I'm using 5 fingers, so it makes like 5 picks.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay, makes sense. So another idiot question. Yeah. Okay.
No.
No, I'm on my musical journey here, man. I'm telling you, I'm getting educated big time.
So that's the sort of idea. I'm trying it with my real nails now. I don't know, it's working out. But anyway, so like, I don't know if I just wasn't very good at doing it. Like, I had a lot of edges and stuff sticking out. And when you do like sort of flamenco style strumming where you like rolling your fingers on the string. And I had this lady in the crowd in front of me, a couple of people in front, and at some point, one of my fake nails shot straight at her, and she almost fainted. So like, yeah, that was a pretty good one. I don't know if she thought it was my nail or what, but yeah.
That's pretty strange.
That's pretty strange. There's probably more. Yeah, I'll try to remember the question now. It's strange related with music.
Yeah, strangest things that's happened to you while performing. I mean, that's pretty funny.
If I'm thinking back to the metal days, I'll probably find some good ones. Not the Winston, Burn was always a funny venue if you're jamming with a tall guy. The stage roof was quite low, so a couple of headstocks and stuff getting mangled on there. If I think of something more interesting, I'll let you know just now.
It's like 2017, you had 40 performances, 60 plus in 2018. And then he did a shitload off in 2019, although it tailed off a bit in 2019. But like you were saying earlier, the Smoking Dragon main stage with your band. But surely momentum is, okay, obviously COVID has played its part now, but surely with momentum and getting Devo on board now to do all the PR and all that sort of stuff, surely now is the time to really push it up.
Well, that's the idea. The 40 shows in 2017, that was really just to get out there, and it did its job. But a lot of those were like a lot of random shows, and it's funny with that type of gigging, that type of fan base you get. They're like great, but a lot of them might not be that active on social media or stuff. So like if you play that venue again, it's cool because you get these people coming back, but it might not get the word of the music out where it should in terms of online at least.
Yeah.
Then 2018 also I really pushed it hard with a lot of shows there as well. The quality of the shows got better, and it was a lot more paid shows and a lot of better paid shows, if you want to put it that way. So like it was picking up in a professional aspect, definitely. 2019 had its challenges, but yet again, the shows that were done there, a lot of them were quality, as you pointed out, the Smoking Dragon show and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much what this year was. I did a Howling tour with the Name on the Drum. I think it was in February, if I'm not mistaken. So that was supposed to be like a pre-launch build-up, and there was hard copies of the album available, which sold pretty well. And that's where things were supposed to like blow out. And it's like, oh shit.
Went sideways.
Yeah. So we ended up with a terrible situation we're in now at the moment. Not that I can complain on my side, but I mean, it did break the momentum. But it's good. I think getting on board with Devo, especially at this point, well, hopefully I'll pick that up, and that's what we're working on now. It's just
well, I mean, you certainly are a lot more visible, put it that way. So, I mean, that can only be a good thing. Your rig rundown, what do you play with?
Okay. Live shows with the band, generally I've got a Marshall amp. It's not super high end, but it's Marshall combo. Solid state purely just because I blow valves like crazy.
Oh, wow.
I love valve amps.
Okay.
Yeah, I love valve amps, but I don't know if it's just me or whatever, but every time I own them, I destroy them. So,
okay.
So it's a solid state Marshall that I usually use. I've got another little orange heading cabinet. That's got a valve and a preamp. But yeah, I usually use the Marshall rather. A lot of Boss pedals mixed with some other stuff. I use a lot of delay. I use a lot of reverb and stuff like that, obviously with the sound that's there.
Yeah.
Solo stuff, I've got my Cort acoustic amp, which I'll often use the effects from there, or I'll use my pedal board with it. Got a Cort acoustic and another Johnson that's not that great, but it's the one that I did those 40 shows with that you mentioned.
Right.
They've both got microphones in them as well for the body work on the guitar.
Okay.
A little bit of Frankenstein guitars. And then as far as my electric guitars go, I've got quite a few, but the one that I'm using now is obviously I do have an artist endorsement through AS Guitars.
Okay.
Which were bought by Elaine Smith, who was staying in Durban at the time. He's now in Germany, now based in Germany.
Does that endorsement still stand?
Or such. I've got the guitar and I still represent him. It is an artist endorsement, so like I'm not, like to be frank, like I did pay for the guitar, just not. I got a very good discount, and I do represent the brand.
Right.
We do have a good relationship. Ross Tapson's one of the full endorsed guys that I spoke about earlier. But I mean, it's a boutique company, so it's not a massive factory or whatever. But because it's a boutique company, the work that Elaine's going to put in those guitars is simply phenomenal. So now the Germans are blessed to have him, so hopefully he'll get a lot of support that side from them. If you've got any German listeners, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you enjoy wonderful boutique instruments, seriously, that's your guy. He also makes wonderful bass guitars. The one I've got is the semi-hollow Amaris. yeah, that's the actual model for what it is. He did push out a few of them, I think, before he left as well. But yeah, he's got a whole wide range of guitars and can pretty much do anything you ask for. You know, you'll customize, put your ideas together, and yeah, the instruments sound good. Howling Rush, all the electric stuff on it from our side is recorded with that guitar. So,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what got you into guitars?
Oh my word. I thought I was gonna get drummer.
You're probably expecting that to be the first question.
I've never had it that blunt though. Like,
And that's how I roll, man. I'll just give it to you straight.
No, I like it. No, I actually thought I'd be a drummer. I do play drums.
Wow, okay.
Okay. I do play a lot of different instruments, but yeah, when I was younger, I was definitely like banging pots and pans and stuff a lot more. I didn't expect the guitar thing to happen. I'm trying to remember what like my initial passion was. I don't even really know. Mates started doing it. I enjoyed it. I tried it. I liked it.
Okay.
I like to
All
think I learned I like to think I learned fairly quickly. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that just grew. Like, I could talk more about why I keep doing it, rather, I suppose. Than
I've got to ask the tough question, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's food for thought when you're watching YouTube later. You can say, how the hell did I actually stop playing guitar? Shit. Okay, let me think about that.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, but I suppose it's like anything. I listened to metal as a child, like Metallica, big Maiden fan, obviously, huge Iron Maiden fan.
Right.
Amongst a lot of other great 80s metal. I was born in 83. A much older cousin that like really loved metal and stuff, so he corrupted me from a young age, and I suppose that's it. If you like metal, you're gonna end up playing something at some point.
Or trying at least.
Yeah, or that's the thing, you know. And I suppose you try, and then if you like it, you like it. You know, one of the things whenever I teach people music, like any students that I have, one thing I try and encourage, I bring out a lot of the boring stuff early, which I think a lot of guitar teachers don't. And not that I think one's a bad approach or not, but like for me, it's like if you can get through the boring stuff early, then you're serious. So,
what do you mean by the boring stuff?
or like, it's one thing learning chords and learning songs and like, yeah, I can do something cool and all that, but like, you know, finger exercises, getting dexterity going, learning a little bit of, you know, actual music, not necessarily to read it, but just, you know, everyone wants to learn a couple of open chords and be able to play
Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, smoke on the Water or Seven Nation Army or Zombie or whatever.
Yeah.
If you can do the tedious stuff, you know, the stuff that requires you, and the little bit more difficult stuff, the stuff that really gets you to sit for hours and your fingers hurt like hell and you're just completely over it. If you can get through that early, then you're probably going to end up being pretty decent. You know? So,
Okay. And how's the teaching going? Are you enjoying it? Is it new for you, or is it something you've always been doing?
It's new for me in a professional sense in terms of people actually paying for it, but it is something I've done before with former bandmates. As I said, Sia and Julian are technically two students of mine that I've jammed with, and they just firstly wonderful guys, but also they've learned so well, and they did exactly that. They were prepared to do the tedious, boring stuff, and that's what let them get good, you know. So and through that they can teach themselves. That's ultimately what you want.
During the recording of the album, did you ever think, let me do some vocals here quickly?
Not so much with this one, but I'm definitely thinking of it for future music.
Oh, okay.
So it might happen, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as you heard on the album, there's a bit of vocals.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all guest artists. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you sing, so I mean, you know, there is a, you know, come on.
Yeah. No, I might. I'm definitely considering it. I wouldn't want it to take over because, you know, at the end of the day, it is the music does the talking with my stuff. But I definitely see a place in it. Like, there's a really cool band out there. Have you ever heard of Covet?
It does ring a bell, but probably not.
I do recommend checking out the guitarist Yvette Young. She's crazy good.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan. She does a lot of the double-handed tapping stuff as well. So obviously,
right. Okay.
Check out Covet and Yvette Young. So like her solo stuff, she sang quite a bit, and she's got an absolutely beautiful voice. And finally, with the new album coming out now, one of the singles they've released now before the album comes out, they've got some vocals on, and it's like, it's about time. But it's done tastefully. It's not like now they're a vocal band. The first single is still fully instrumental. Yeah. It's just there's vocals now. It's just forming an extra part of it. So
it's not over the top. Yeah.
So if I bring it into my new stuff, it will just be like an additional layer to the millions of layers that are already there.
I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing for when the new album's going to come out.
Cool.
People, he hasn't even started writing or recording the new album. Don't take what I say for gospel, all right? There's nothing new coming out yet.
There's a bit of material.
Oh, there we go. You see. You see now, I got it out of you. There's a bit of material, and it's going to come out next year.
But as I say, I'm talking big. The recording process could...
Not another 3 years. No.
Oh, no, definitely not. Yeah. It's got to come out before I'm 40.
Okay, so we touched on how you like to record. If you do, when you do your next one, is it going to be pretty much in the same vein as this one in terms of the process? Is it going to be done at home, or are you going to go into a studio and do it?
I'll probably demo at home because I've got the resources to do it now. But
are you one of those that like to go into a studio and perform with other people?
Yeah, I suppose I do. This album had a lot of guests. I don't know if the next album would. But yeah, like it's different when you're a solo artist because it is still your stuff at the end of the day.
Do you think there's a massive sound difference? If people can set up a studio at home so easily these days with all the right technology and all that sort of stuff. And it sounds pretty good, but do you think there is a sound difference between a home recorded studio as opposed to a nice, big studio with proper 24 channel desks and all that sort of shit, or 48 or 64 or whatever they use these days?
It depends what you're going for. I mean, those big studios are really very much in many ways, I think, a thing of the past. I think only huge acts use that now. I could be wrong, but I think everything has its pros and cons. Like, when I do the next album, I would probably like to go through with Daniel Philogene again. He did a great job with this one, and we seem to connect and we communicate well. And what I love about him is he's straight. Like, I like working with a guy that says like, no, that sounds shit, or yeah, that's not working. Don't sit and try and please me for the sake.
Yeah, don't stroke my ego. Yeah, that kind of vibe. Just get to the point.
Album. Yeah. And he's definitely not that guy. Like, he'd have the patience to let me sit and do a thing over and over, or we try an idea over and over, or we get another guy back into the studio again. So I like that. I like having someone that's straight up like that and honest. The only thing that I might change is some of my acoustic stuff. The guys from Name on the Drum, they do have their studio as well, which is called Storytellers. I think right. I hope I got that right. So I might consider doing some of my acoustic stuff with them, just purely because their approach is very different. Whereas Daniel's quite digital, and you get that good crisp, clean sound, which is perfect for that stuff. So I might do some of the acoustic stuff with Name on the Drum with their Storyteller studio. We'll see.
Now, Name on the Drum is I don't mean to be disrespectful to the guy on the drums. Is that the old fella on the drums?
No, they're two young guys.
Okay. Now, who's the old fella on the drums? And I've seen you perform with.
Okay, that's Ron. He jams with my trio. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so if I'm doing, no, it's cool. So yeah, when I'm doing a trio show or show with the band, 90% of the time he'll be my drummer.
Right.
For that. Like at Smoking Dragon, Nathaniel from Name on the Drum, he did one of the songs on the drums.
Okay. Right.
Ron took over. But Ron's generally my drummer, for the actual band.
Okay. So Name on the Drum is the two younger guys.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They're two young guys, yeah.
The two young guys. Okay. Okay.
But they're indie folk band from KZN.
Okay.
They are so good. Like, if you're into that type of music, they're really good at what they do. You'll get deep lyrics that will have you thinking about it for weeks after.
Okay. There's a hell of a lot of good musicians coming out of Durban. I mean, the scene is quite bloody good.
No, there is. Like, one thing I always say, like, people always like, oh, there's no good music and stuff. It's like, you just got to look for it. There's just within my circles alone, just from people that I've met from gigs. I mean, I met, you spoke about that 40 shows. That's why I did it, was to connect and meet people. I met them from that period. And not only are they great musicians, they're fantastic guys as well. Super easy to work with. And
how hard is it to actually make it in this country, or make it anywhere as a musician?
I think it depends what your goal is of making it.
Okay, fair. That's a fair retort.
Yeah. So, like, in one aspect, what is your goal, as we said? So, and the other aspect, what is your situation? So, for me, I am aiming to go full, but I'm also very lucky and blessed to have a very supportive wife in a pretty stable position herself. So like that is a reality for me to possibly pursue. Had our financial situation been different, I might not be so lucky, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have those options. So I think it depends on a lot of things. Also depends what you want to do, if you know how much you want to compromise your musical stuff. So like I do niche type music, which is great because it gets a very specific loyal following, but it's, you know, I'm also not a teenage girl that's gonna, you know, attract a lot of different people, you know. I don't sing, so that doesn't help either, so you know what I mean. I think it all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for fame, that's obviously, in my opinion, incredibly difficult, and there's a lot of luck involved there, and a lot of different factors. So I think, you know, making as a musician, I think just be smart with your finances, be smart with your ideas and the direction you take. I think also a couple of things, and this is something that I learned, like when you're spending money, especially if you have it, spend it on the right things, because like I've gone through cycles where I just put money into all the wrong things. Now I finally started getting out of that, and it's paying off. Also, don't just jump for every idea or every promoter or whatever out there that's, you know, really think about what you're doing, think about your audience, and think about what it is you're trying to get out. So do I say it's easy? Make it as a musician, as I say, definitely not. But is it possible? Yes, I think so. I think depending on what you're looking for. If your goals are realistic, I mean, if you just look at South Africa now, like if I think about the metal scene back when I was a teenager, it was like, you know, the thought of playing overseas or whatever, you were like, you know, it's not going to happen, type of thing. You know, you really wanted to. Yeah. But also in those days, you know, you got delusions of grandeur and you want to be a big rock star. Look at how many, just in the metal scene alone, how many metal bands are doing really well internationally. It's ridiculous. The list goes on. Deity's Muse, amongst so many other things. These guys are, I'm not sure how they were doing financially and stuff, but they're definitely out there. People are talking about it. So I think just be smart.
Be smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Be smart.
Maybe don't just jump for every opportunity that presents itself, if you can end up wasting years on something that's not fruitful. So I think that would be...
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
It's true though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You could jam in a band that has toxic vibes or whatever, and through some sort of loyalty or whatever, just go through with it, and it's really not worth it. You know? That's just one example. I mean, amongst many, or work with someone that's really just not good for you on a personal level, musical level, whatever, holding you back. Like, I'd just say that. It comes back again to being smart. I don't know if I've got that right yet, but it's definitely the goal. So,
well, I think you are headed in the absolutely right direction with Howling Rush, because it is a fantastic album. I thoroughly enjoy it. My wife thoroughly enjoys it, so that's got a gold star right there. And 2021, I'm looking forward to the new album. But Ryno, thank you very much for taking the time out to chat to me, man. Like I said, the album is really, really good. I'm glad Diva's on board and pushing you out there now even more, which is fantastic because it deserves to be out there. It's a really good album, and all the links and will be in the description below. Click, like, love, and share, and do whatever you people need to do. So go for it, listen to his album, rate it, enjoy it, have fun.
Be like and check it all out. Subscribe and all those
That's
things.
it. Be like and subscribe.
That's it. And thank you for taking your time, man. It's great chatting to people like you. I actually, like I said, you were on my radar before I even got into talk to Devo. So you're definitely doing something great, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, look, Devo is fantastic, man. And shout out to David. Thank you very much for organizing this, man. But we would have had the podcast anyway, man. So there you go.
Oh yeah, eventually. David has been phenomenal. I'm battling to keep up. I'm normally the guy waiting for emails. This guy's just...
Oh yeah, no, he is on it like a whip it up a trouser leg. Yeah, no, he is something else. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, Ryno, thank you so much, man. Have a good one. Thanks, be safe, and the album is fucking epic, and I look forward to the next one.
Thank you so much, man.
Alrighty, cheers.
Cool, cheers.